All right. We are live, and it's amazing that we are live here in Toronto, Canada. I'm Victoria, intimacy coach, holistic intimacy coach specifically, relationship, communication, and sexual wellness coach. We're here today with my lovely cohort and colleague, Barbara. Barbara, share.
Hey there. So excited to be here. This is our very first live stream on StreamYard. We've never used StreamYard before, so this is a big test for us. And welcome, everyone. My name is Barbara Cates, and I'm a dating and communications coach. And I work with people who are ready to find their soulmate. I work with them on their headset, their heart set, and their mindset, and their skill sets. I also do live events for Match.com.
Awesome. So here we are today, and we are sharing with you some questions that were sent in to us. So we're going to share those answers between the two of us. We're going to bounce back and forth, and we're going to give you our perspectives. So one of the top questions that keep coming in is around Tantra. Tantra is a hot topic.
Hot topic.
Super hot. And the reason why it's hot is because the Western civilization has decided to serve it up as a sexual hot topic as opposed to a lifestyle topic, because Tantra is a yogic practice lifestyle where you become more enriched with everything that goes on around you through your five senses, and that you are fully present with a mindful focus in the present moment. That is in a nutshell what Tantra is. Now, the Tantric yogic perspective, which is a branch of the yoga tree. So as everybody knows that there's different kinds of yoga. There's Bikram, there's Kundalini, there's Hatha, there's Leya, there's Moksha, there's Ashtanga. There's so many different kinds of yogas. And guess what? Tantra is also a branch of the yoga tree. Now, the difference between Tantra and the other practices is that we include in our practices an understanding and a mastery of your sexual energy, your sexual organs, and vitalizing them and mastering them to the point where you can actually tune in and drive that energy into different parts of your body for healing, for vitality, for balancing, for recalibrating. And you can amplify the energy, and you can move the energy, and you can send it out to specific people or particular thing that you want to release. Or you can implode it and bring it into your own body to create that healing natural state, the optimal health that we need at this time.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, people really think that yoga is just the physical, let's go to the yoga class and, do stretches and downward dog and we're done. People really do not understand that this is thousands and thousands of years old as a lifestyle, and there's different philosophies and different, as Victoria says, branches of yoga. And Tantra really isn't spoken of in the holistic capacity that it really is.
Absolutely. Now, is Tantra, and one of our other questions was, is Tantra only done with couples? Because guess what? It's been marketed to death that it must be done with another person. Guess what? It was never done with another person. It was always done individually. You are taught to master your own energy and center and ground and know how to manage that and master it to the degree that is super powerful for you. And then when you come together with somebody else, then you're jamming. You're really rocking it. That's what they're actually trying to sell you and market to you. Meanwhile, before you play in a band, you need to know how to play your violin first. Okay. So if I know how to master my particular instrument, being my body, my mind, my heart, and my energy, then I can come together with you, Barb, and we can jam, really, truly jam.
I love your music analogy. I mean, it's true. People think, being in a relationship and being, dating is all about finding that other person. And then they don't really understand that it has to first start with you. It has to start with you understanding who you are and understanding, all aspects of you, intellectually and physically and emotionally and spiritually. Because if you're supposed to answer questions, like people ask you, what do you like? If you've never thought about it, how are you going to answer that question knowledgeably, authentically from who you are? It always starts with you. Always, always, always.
You are number one first. Fill your cup first, drink of it, and then turn around and say, hey, I choose to share space and time with you because I'm in the mood and my cup is full, my energy is there, and my heart is open, my mind is relaxed, and we can seriously jam.
Absolutely. Isn't that what life's supposed to be about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So, one of our other questions that was brought up to our attention was, I'm in an obligated relationship and I want to know if I will ever find love at this stage in the game. So, from my perspective, that's a very deep question to ask. Being in a relationship where you're obligated and you're committed and you have certain things in place that are foundational to your finances and your house and the household itself. Now, if I want to fulfill a certain aspect within myself that's missing because you're saying to me, I need love. I'm not getting love from the current partner that I have my commitment to. I'm searching for a balance within myself. So the question I will always ask you is, what is missing within yourself? What is it that you're truly seeking? And I'd say that we firstly may look at the love languages as an answer. Like, what is it that really rocks your boat and you groove in those love languages? So, for example, if I'm an acts of service person, what do I do to make my life easier to connect to myself in a more profound and centered way? Barb, what do you think?
I think that that's a really big question. And I know for me right now it's spring. And spring for me is all about, new beginnings and new ways of letting go of things that have held me back in the past. So my answer to that question is, what is it that you need to let go of that you've been holding on to? Maybe it's some resentment, maybe it's some anger, maybe it's a way of, if you've been in this relationship for so many years, people just kind of get in a groove, right? And you both end up taking on certain characteristics or aspects or roles. So one thing that I would say is, what is it you need to let go of so that you can come into the relationship again a little more in the moment, a little bit more free, a little bit more perhaps looking at your partner as an adversary as opposed to both of you on the same team. And you've been with someone for a really long time. If you can go back to remember what it was that attracted you in the first place and really have gratitude and appreciation of that person, it really opens your heart. And you may be starting to see them in new eyes, but it's really the eyes from the past, from what the beginning was, because there were things there that made you fall in love with them in the first place.
Absolutely. So it's a reflective time frame to ponder that particular question that you've sent to us, to
Yeah,
also ask yourself, what is it that I truly need to feel the love and the heart-centered connection to myself and to the people that are within my life currently? What is it that you specifically seek? So again, coming back to something very simple that we all know and are clear with is the love languages and understanding how they work and function. That helps us understand our personal keys and the way we work and groove within our way of expressing and receiving and giving love.
absolutely.
Cool.
Okay, so we did have a couple questions come in that were sent to us as private messages. So there was one on dating. So the question was, I've been in a relationship for over 10 years now, and I'm single again. I'm not even sure where to begin. Great question. I know that during this last year, when we've been going through the pandemic, relationships have decided that they've come to their natural end, and people are finding themselves on their own. And, they're thinking, I don't even know where to start. And typically what happens is people think, okay, I want to find a new relationship. I better go online, or I better start meeting people, or I better, like, it's all outward focused. And what I have found is that's great. I mean, you want to obviously start meeting people, but that's kind of like step 3. For me, with the people that I've worked with, I have found the people that do the inner work first end up in much healthier, longer lasting, loving, kind, compassionate, healthy relationships. So, for instance, the first question is, who am I? I mean, 10 years later, from when you were single to where you are now, you've grown, you've changed. There's some pieces of you that are the same, and there's some pieces that are different. So, first of all, the question is, who am I? What do I like? What do I not like? Where is my line in the sand as far as boundaries? As I do not want this type of behavior, or what really lights me up is this type of fun behavior or loving behavior. So you have to get to know yourself. The second part is really have a clear picture of who it is that you want to attract. So a lot of the times people say, well, I just want a kind person. Absolutely. We all want a kind, compassionate person. But I liken it to, you're going to buy a car. If someone says, what kind of car do you want? Well, I'd really like it to have a steering wheel and some tires, and I'd like it to be blue, right? It's very broad. It's not specific. And the thing is, once you get more specific and you get a clearer picture of the characteristics, of the interests that might be similar, you start seeing those people more and more, right? It's like you decide, I specifically want a red Ford Taurus. When you're driving around, all of a sudden you start seeing more and more red Ford Tauruses. So the first piece is to start with yourself, get clear on who you are and who you're looking for, and then start looking to, now where would I go to find these type of people? What do you think, Victoria?
Well, I think we have to go back to the drawing board as to, who am I? I completely agree 100% with that. I need to know what I like, what I don't like. It's
Yeah.
like little kids. I see a little candy and I pick it up and I start like chewing on it and to figure out whether I like it or not. So you need to go back to the drawing board and do that, right? So understanding how you groove, how you move, and be able to connect with people in your sphere that are currently re-emerging back into the scene of dating or seeing people or even learning how to converse again because you haven't had that practice. So it would be great to go into that practice. I know that you're doing some really great workshops with regards to practicing and coming back into the fold of dating and online dating. So it's really important to start putting your toe in the water and see where you're at with what's going on with you before you start connecting with other people, because I need to know myself really well. So from the tantric perspective, as a tantra teacher, I always tell you, know thyself first before you start coming into contact with others, because I want to be authentic. I want to live authentically and fulfilling my life. I want to love deeply. I want to laugh often. I want to live fully and authentically. So doing that means you got to start here first.
Absolutely. And one last point I just want to add is coming into this new dating place in your life, if you do it from a place of curiosity versus perfection, it becomes a lot more interesting. It becomes a lot, there's a lot less anxiety and tension that you create for yourself, as opposed to, I haven't done this in a while. I'm kind of curious. Why don't I go online and see what that looks like? I'm kind of curious. Why don't I go to a meetup and see what that's like? There's lots of online stuff, online meetups right now. Let's just check it out and see how I feel about it. Do I like it? Do I not like it? Just dip your toe in the water and just be curious.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. And I use that word as well in the work that I do as an intimacy coach. Curiosity cultivates and fosters courage. Really
Mm,
important to note that. Curiosity cultivates and fosters courage in everything you
absolutely.
do.
Absolutely. All right. What other questions did we get, Victoria?
So we got another question, a more alternative intimacy question. The question was, where do I find like-minded people who are interested in open relationships or polyamory? So I'm going to back the truck up beep, 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 and just give you a little insight on what, polyamory is. So the word polyamory in itself is a bastardized word between the Greek word and a Latin word. So poly or poly in Greek, meaning more than one, and amor being love in Latin. So loving more than one person. When I am in a relationship with people who I love in addition to my primary relationship, which, by the way, must be solid or is a clear understanding of why we are, seeking other partners or opening the relationship up, has to be super solid emotionally, mentally, and physically and energetically. All those four things must be online. So, going now to polyamory, I want to seek out another human being in addition to the person that I have currently in my life, because my partner is not able to fulfill some kind of a need, and my partner has agreed that that need is not going to be their cup of tea. So I'm going to seek it elsewhere with their permission, their consent, and they know exactly what's going on. So that's another part. We disclose everything to our partners. We're open, we're clear. If there's any emotions arising within, that we are sharing that and dealing with it. So if I'm having an emotional issue and I'm your primary partner, Barb, I am committed to sharing with you what is happening as opposed to going outside of our relationship. So it must be within. Now, if I'm seeking other people, the best thing to do is to Google such awesome. You just type in, open relationships, polyamory, looking for people who are seeking to share this kind of a lifestyle, have this particular value system. On Facebook alone, there's at least 4 or 5 different groups that I Googled earlier because I, saw the question and I'm like, okay, let me check it out. Let's see what's going on lately. And there are groups on Facebook that are attuned to this particular lifestyle and this particular value system in a relationship. So it's not really far. It's close to your fingertips. You just type that baby in. With regards to where you live currently, like we live in Toronto and we have a number of different what we refer to as houses or spaces that are sex positive and open to this kind of a lifestyle. So those are available to us downtown Toronto, on the outskirts of Toronto, and available to everybody who's interested in attending or being part of that. So since we're currently in lockdown, that's not happening. Therefore, everything's online virtually. So there's plenty of that going on too. So one of the places that I noticed that has been creating a buzz virtually is Aqua Oasis Lounge downtown Toronto. So they've been doing a lot of stuff there. Other than that, I prefer to plug into groups and become intellectually connected, ask questions, emotionally charge the conversation to see where it goes. So I have a better understanding of where I'm at in conjunction to somebody else's conversation, hear other people's opinions, thoughts, concerns, challenges, really dive into that. So yeah, it's not that far. It's really close. 20 years ago, I got to tell you, when I started seeking out kinky places, because I'm a kinkster, I had to look really deeply, ask questions. It was secret. You had to go to a sex toy store and say, hey, is there anything around here? And they'd be, yeah, here's a flyer. And I'm like, oh, there's a flyer? Oh, wow. Okay. And then on the flyer, it had a website address, and the website address was one page. That's it. That's all you get. And you had to type in a little note to the person on that one page and ask them a question, and they answer back magically and be able to attend any number of events that were available. But now everything is at your fingertips.
So much easier now,
Yeah.
which is great. And you get to connect with like-minded people and like-minded communities, especially now when people are feeling much more isolated. So great resources.
Absolutely. So I think there's another question on your end. Yeah.
I got a couple questions. So one of the questions was, I get nervous around someone I find attractive. How do I start a conversation? How many people has that happened to? Everybody, men, women, all stages of life, absolutely. And a lot of the times what stops us and holds us back is what's going on in our head. So we actually take ourselves out of the game because we're going through all these potential scenarios and mindsets in our head of, what am I going to say? Am I going to look foolish? Am I going to try and all of a sudden I'm going to get rejected? I'm going to get tongue-tied. So yes. So a lot of the times we find somebody we think is attractive, we want to start a conversation, and we don't even put ourselves into the game, which, is not great, because look at all the potential opportunities that you could have met an amazing human being, right? So again, it's going back to curiosity. See how important curiosity is? It's about, there's something about that person that you have found attractive. But as Victoria says, I'm going to back the bus first, right? Before you start a conversation, 93% of communication is nonverbal. So you want to check out their body language, right? Is their body language open or is their body language closed, right? So if they're sitting there and they're at a table and maybe they've got the phone and they're on their phone and they're not looking up, if you all of a sudden show up and go, yo, hey, how are you? Like, it's a bit startling, right? So first thing is, check out their body language. Have they noticed you? Have you met eyes? Have you had a nice smile? That's an invitation that they might be open to being approached. That's kind of like flirting. So flirting is about seeing if someone is open to being approached. So moving a little bit forward, assuming that you've made eye contact, they have acknowledged you, they've given you a smile, then you want to go over there and people say, oh, how do I start a conversation? I freak myself out. What's a great opening line? How you doing? Unless that's who you are, unless you're Joey Tribbiani from Friends, that's really not who you are. Might come off a little corny. So the best opening line that I always say to people is just say, hey, nice to meet you. I'm Barbara. That's it. And they'll probably go, hi, I'm Josephine. Nice to meet you. Hi, I'm Fred. Nice to meet you. So you've broken the ice. That was your opening line. So the first question is the thing that you were curious about, right? So there's something about them that has attracted you. So ask them a question about that. Starting off with, do you like the weather today? It's kind of flat. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just boring. You want to be you want to be genuine. You want to be authentic. You want to show your personality and who you are. So, be curious about what it is that you find attractive about them. What do you think, Victoria?
I find your eyes very attractive. I love the light, the way it hits it. And I was wondering, is that something that you notice yourself?
See, look, I laughed, right? It was a completely authentic and unique conversation or opening way to start a conversation. And you're now going to see what my personality is, right? So I might say, I've never noticed that. I'm going to look next time in the mirror and see if they sparkle. Do you see how that got a fun and playful all of a sudden, right? So you want to respond with your honest answer in your being authentic. There you go. Being authentic and show your personality, right?
Yeah, I'm down with that. I like being authentic and I like being curious.
Yeah.
Curious is my middle name, so it's Victoria Curious Kalanteris.
I mean, one of my favorite questions I love asking, and I do this in, personal situations at a party, or I do this in business situations even. I say, hey, what's one fun, cool thing I would never know about you just by looking at you? You have no idea how many directions, how many really cool, interesting directions that could go.
Yeah, I've skydived indoor, 30 feet in the air.
Now, come on, you cannot tell me you don't have curious questions about that. Really? Oh my God, that's cool. And whoever you thought she was, that box you put her in just got a little bit bigger. And maybe you've also gone skydiving. And now you can have a conversation about this shared interest. See how that all unfolds?
Yeah, especially when I'm scared of heights.
I'm scared of heights too. Oh my goodness. See, we could get into a conversation about being scared of heights and we're going to connect. We're going to connect on that point.
Absolutely. So, 30 minutes goes by really fast, Barb.
I know, we're almost done.
Yeah, we're almost done. So I just want to let everybody know who's tuned in to our Radical Love Q&A on dating, intimacy, tantra, where we answer all your questions, concerns, and challenges. That this is our first time together on StreamYard, so we want to make this a regular thing. We are going to invite you to type in your questions and curiosities and challenges and concerns, where we can come at them from our two different perspectives, because we're the dynamic duo of the Radical Love Group on Facebook. Barb, what do you think?
I think this is awesome. I think we have time for maybe one more question. What direction do you want to go in here, Victoria? You got any burning questions? I have one about online dating if we wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, that's actually a hot topic, because there was some interesting conversation in our group around online and how people are authentic versus inauthentic.
Yeah. All right. Here are my thoughts about online dating. If you are not being authentic, you might as well not be there. You know, a lot of people, so the question is, how do I find a good match online? So the big secret that people tend to forget is that putting an online profile together that says, hi, I like walking on the beach and I like going for long meandering drives in the park. Everybody loves that, right? You, first of all, don't stand out. Secondly, you have not shared about yourself. Thirdly, you have not said what's really important to you, what you're really passionate about, what the type of person that you're looking for, how you're kind of quirky. You know, these are the things that people will find endearing, or they won't. And the people that don't are great. We don't want them to respond to us, right? This is about having quality matches as opposed to quantity. I know it feels really good in your ego that lots and lots of people are saying, hey there, how's it going? But really, isn't it better to have quality people who, because you've put a profile together that's really authentically who you are, say, that's the type of person that I want to get to know. So it is all about being authentic. It's about, it's putting out there the type of person you'd like to meet. And you have to do your part too, You also are going to go online and authentically look for someone who has similar interests to you. Not just, I'm not a big fan of swipe sites, like Tinder or what have you, because it's like, I like their picture, I don't. I don't. It doesn't really give you a lot of room to write a profile. And it's to me, it's like kind of going to a grocery store. It's like maybe, as opposed to really seeing there is a potential connection here. How about you, Victoria? What are your thoughts?
I think that not only will you be authentic on your profile, but you need to make sure that you put your boundaries in place too. Like looking for a serious relationship where the person is emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
Or somebody who takes ownership of their own feelings and the way they show up in the world.
Absolutely.
I'm a big proponent of boundaries. You know why? Because when I have boundaries, then I could be more loving. I could be more kind. I could be more generous. I could be like super awesome and spend time with you and not feel like I'm being pressured or feel anxiety around it, or I feel like I have to tolerate something until I have to leave, or whatever number of issues or stories I put in my head. I don't want any of those things, because that's very stressful. I want a stress-free, authentic, living life where I can just be myself. Be my goofy self, be my crazy fun self, and allow my heart to be open to allow that to be.
Yeah. Isn't that what the type of relationship we want, as opposed to feeling like we have to hide parts of ourselves because we don't think they're going to be well received or accepted? Like, you don't want to live the rest of your life with someone only 80% of you being allowed to show up. No, that's not what we want.
No, absolutely not. And we've been down that road ourselves. Okay.
100%.
We refuse. We actually made a promise to ourselves. I promise to myself to never place myself in a position or a relationship where I will be inauthentic. Okay. That's my promise to myself, and I keep it.
Me too, because it feels crappy. It feels crappy if you have to hide parts of yourself or feel like they won't be embraced. You can agree to disagree. I'm not saying you have to be with someone who 100% agrees with everything that you say or believe. I'm just saying you want to be in a relationship where they accept all parts of you.
Absolutely. And
And that,
on that count, I'm going to round it up, Barb. It's that 30-minute mark where we promised ourselves we'd stay in, and we look forward to coming back and answering questions, sharing our thoughts, being goofy with each other online because this is all new and exciting for the two of us too.
all
So
right.
thank you for tuning in.
Thank you all for being here. We look forward to doing it again. Keep the questions coming because we want to answer them and we want to connect with you. Thanks so much for being in our group.
And a reminder, our group is called Radical Love. We are located in the Radical Love dating, intimacy, communication, Tantra group. So join us there. We'd love to see you.
We'll see you soon.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.